Concerns over land development in preservation areas has Marion County leaders thinking about the future. TV2's Emma Delamo tells us why one group is hoping to make changes with county commissioners.
A conservation group in Marion County is concerned with future land development. Members of Horse Farms Forever are expressing their concerns to county commissioners, asking them to approve changes over family divisions in farmland preservation areas. They want a better system to keep track of transfers.
There wasn't a good way to track that, so we're concerned about the growth that is happening in Marion County, and there was a concern that these family divisions were being abused.
The group filed a land development code amendment application to fix some of the language in the ordinance. They say rather than dividing and transferring acres between family members, the land is often sold to someone else.
We support the family division process, but we want to make sure that the intent of the comprehensive plan and the land development code is that these transfers of a parcel of land are intended to stay within the family.
One woman says she's lived in Marion County for 22 years and doesn't like that preserved land is sold off to developers.
Instead of it being horse farms, we are looking forward to yet another subdivision in an area with the last of our mature trees and everything left.
County commissioners gave their input on potential changes too. They believe instead of requiring owners to keep the land for 2 years before transferring ownership, the number should be increased to 5 years to avoid misuse. Shires tells me her team will use the board's input to get their approval. The next public hearing is scheduled for December 5th at 5:30 p.m. In Ocala, Emma Delamo, TV 20 News.